Welcome to my step-to-step guide on how to setting up your own Ubuntu server, and we'll also set up a SSH key for login without passwords, and we'll also set up a firewall for security. So let's get into it. So first of all, we need to I wrote a small guide that I will upload to my GitHub, and the link will be in the video description. So first of all, we will have to buy a server somewhere or rent a server. And I personally use Cloudsy. I'm not sponsored or affiliated with them, but I enjoy them because they're quite easy. So first of all, of course, you have to add money, which you can easily use a credit card. They support crypto as well. Add however much you need. And then in the new services, you can deploy a new service. And then I'll go for a bigger one. The cheapest ones would also work. For example, I'm doing a VPN that also works fine, but then if you connect it with VS Code later on, it might get laggy. So I'll use something better for now, and please don't try to hack my server. I'll delete this one afterwards, so I'll show you all the things. I'll pick a server that's close to me, and then be sure to select Ubuntu. I'll go with the newest versions. And yeah, you could add an SSH key here, but I'll walk you through how to do that if you do not do it here. Of course, we can press deploy now, and it will set up our server. So it took a while, but now it's done. So we will, after it's created, it will show us the IP address of the server and also the username and password. And I'll copy these things to my script, to my file here, so that we know we have username as root, and then the password. I will delete the server later on, so don't try to log into this one. And now we have the most important things to log in. And we basically just need a terminal, and we can log into it. The terminal, I'm using a Mac. You can find it here, terminal, and then you can ping it below. So basically you just need to SSH, and then the username is root. So we have root at the IP address, and then it will ask us for a password. So first of all, it will always, if you want to trust the server, and yes, and then the password. And now we can see that we're connected to our Ubuntu server in Singapore. So that's it. Now I'll show you how to connect with the VS Code, because usually I like that one more. It does use a bit of CPU of the server, but if it's large enough, if it's 1 GB, has some problems, but I think more than 1 is usually fine. So first of all, we can download an add-on. It's called Remote Explorer. Already have it installed. So you can just, this one, you can install it, and then after that add-on, you will see this page. In here, we can add a remote. So here we type in the same SSH root at the IP address. IP address. will tell us to use a configuration file. So I'll use the default one, and here we have it. And here, if I click on here, we'll directly connect it through VS Code. It will prompt for the password again. And then from here on, we can open a terminal as well. And now it takes a while, download some VS Code on the server as well. And here we see ls-a, we see that we are on it, and these are the files in there. So next up, we're gonna update the packages, the server, which can be done through this. We'll try to install everything. And next up, the best is to disable password login for root user, because people will try to hack or brute force into your server if it's on the internet. So I will create a new user, a new admin user, and then add SSH keys so we can log in without a password, and then I'll disable password login for that. We did this. We will get prompted. For example, there are differences. I'll just say I want the SSH config, but I did not do anything yet, so I'll just use the maintainers. Will be replaced. So after it's done, you can also use the next command to see if there's anything else that's upgradable. And nope, everything is up to date. So next we'll want to add user, and I'll make my username Jonas. Then for it, I'll give it a new password. I'll use the same one as the root. Too lazy for now. Bit. Leave these blank. And now I'll make it into an admin, so it has the same rights as the root user. Okay, and next up we'll generate an SSH key. So this, we have to go back to the local machine. So this is the machine that I will use to log into the server. And on here, I'll create an SSH key. And I will be using this encryption method. It's quite a fast one. And I'll give it a comment. Just call it Singapore. And the file, I'll call it like this. I'll also use Singapore. We could also use SSH keys that we already generated that other files use, but I like to have it separate, create a new one. And let's find and replace this. All. And then the new username that we created is Jonas in my case. I'll replace it with Jonas. And then the server IP address is this. Place it. Okay, so this will create a new SSH key with this file name and we'll save it to that place. And it has a comment. I'll just, in my terminal, I'll paste in the command. And the passphrase, we leave it empty, so it's not encrypted, the code itself. And here we can see our public key and private key. And we can also find it in the Explorer. Shift Command dot to reveal the hidden files. And under users, Jonas is mine, and then SSH, we can see that it created 2 new files here. So one is the public key. The public key is what we will share to the server and other places that we want to log in. And this is the private key. This is like your password. So with this, you could log into my server as well. So next up, we will copy the key onto the server and on the user. So this copies the key to the server. Now the password of the server. And now we can try to log in, so we can see that it works without a password. Oh, but it needs, because we created a different file name, so we have, we want to try, we have to -i and then give it which key we're using. If I do this, without entering a password, I should hopefully be able to log in. And we see that I am logged in as Jonas on the Ubuntu server. Next up, I'll copy the key to the root account as well. Okay. And then on the VS Code, we go to the Remote Explorer in the settings. Actually, we can open the settings, the configuration file. You can see this is the server, and we use root, and this is already old. And then to log in with the SSH key, we can do this. We can add the identity file. Copy this. So this will tell VS Code if we want to connect to the server. We will try to connect to the root user, and we will use the SSH key, which is saved here. So now if I connect, it should connect without a password prompt. And we see we're connected to it, and I can open a terminal. Next up, we will increase the security of the server. So we will disable password login for the root user, and we'll set up a firewall as well. So once we're connected to here, we could open the folder on the server. Here we can see all the files. We have the SSH, and in the SSHD config, this is how we can log in to the server through SSH. And in here, we will say root permit root login. we will say prohibit, and it needs a password. So prohibit password, so we can still log in with the SSH key, but it will not use the password. Next up, we'll have use PAM, we'll set it to no, and we'll also have a max login tries, so brute force attacks won't work as well on here. Here, max authentication tries. Theoretically, I could even put it to 1 because we're not going to use password logins anymore. So if you have more than 3 wrong tries, you'll have to wait a few minutes. And then the use PAM, we'll also put it to no. Save the file. In the terminal, we can do this command to test if the configuration file is correct. If there's nothing, it means it's correct. And then we can restart the SSH service. So now this should be in effect. So to test out to see that the password login is disabled, we first have to go to the SSH, the configuration file here. We open it, and then we have to change the host name to, for example, Cloud C. So if it's trying to connect to Cloud C, it will use the SSH key here. And now if we're trying to log into root, it will ask for a password again, because here we are logging into the IP address and it looks for the host. And here if we type in the password, it should not allow us in. We can see that we got denied. So it has been correctly set up. So next up, we will set up the firewall. And to do that, we did all of this. We first have to allow SSH to connect. This is important, or else we will be locked out of the server. And then we'll allow port 53 for DNS, 80 and 443 if we want to host a website, which I will be doing. And then we'll deny all other incoming ports. We will allow everything that goes out. I'm making a VPN, so I want it to be able to connect to the internet. So I'll copy this, and then we can paste it in here. And we can see that it updated it. And now if we can enable the firewall. Yes, and then it's enabled and active. We can see its status. We can see it allows in these. We have IPv6 active, so this as well. And on top of this, IP addresses can still try, they ping you, whatever, try to log in. I'll install a fail to ban. This one will ban IP addresses that have too many failed login attempts. And we can also see that there are quite a few people that will try to log in, even though we have nothing running or no website running yet. So we also copy the configuration file, so we don't overwrite the default one. So what this does, it copies the configuration file and creates a jail.local. We can see if we go to etc, fail to ban, you can see here we have the normal configuration file, the one that we copied. And here we want to enable a few settings. So what I want to do is we want to increase the find time. So what some bots might do is every 5 minutes they will try a login. the failed logins, it searches the time it will be longer. I'll put it to, let's say, an hour. So if someone in the same hour fails a few times, it will be counted. Where is it? Define time. I'll increase it to 60 minutes. So if someone has failed attempts in 1 hour, it will count it. And the ban time, I'll increase it as well. I'll increase it to, let's say, 3 hours. Max retries, I'll reduce it to 3. And then we want a ban increment. To increase. So if it fails and fails again in an hour and again, it will increase the ban time. And that should be enough for it. So we have to enable fail to ban, and also start it. And we can see what is already being banned. Currently nothing is banned yet. Usually sometimes I already have a banned IP address. And we can see the login tries in var/log. We can connect to the folder var. Here we have the logs and auth.logs. You can see this got created. It's been a day now, and if we run the command again of fail to ban, we can see that we already have 38 IP addresses blocked in just a single day. And in the auth.log, we see we already have 18,000 logs, and we can see that there will be just random people trying to log in. So even just now, someone tried to log in as the root user from this IP address. So we can see 300 failed. We have invalid. We have as well over 300 invalids, and we see that they always try different ports, so it's port scans attack. So it's important to have a strong enough password, and also to disable password logins for the root user or admin, these default names. As you can see, they just try random things, user, support, Ubuntu. And this was it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you have any questions or if you run into any problems, please leave a comment down below. And in the next videos, I will show you how to install a VPN and connect it with your phone, and as well hosting your own website, so downloading Nginx, hosting your website. And if you have something that you want to learn as well, please also let me know, and maybe I'll make a new video for that as well. Thank you for watching.